The stone golem minions went on a wild rampage, slamming into the ground and launching enemy players high into the air. Seeing the chaos spread, Wang Meng ordered Captain An Yu and his squad to lock down every enemy resurrection array, so Shadow could focus on the boss without any interruptions. Meanwhile, Anquan watched the airborne targets with sparkling eyes, barely holding back the urge to throw himself into the fight. And when the golem sent another wave of players flying into the clouds, that was it. Whatever composure he had left was gone. His teammate could only facepalm, because at that point nobody in the world was going to stop him. Leaping high into the sky, Anquan dived straight toward the floating crowd and triggered his class ultimate, Last Breath, blinking between the airborne targets and slicing them apart with a storm of wind strikes. Loot orbs rained down around him as he landed, and he let out a sigh of pure bliss. What he forgot, though, was that his own ultimate had dropped him right in the middle of the enemy pack. A giant stone minion flattened him a second later. Watching Anquan's ghost float away, Shadow only sighed, because the man really never could resist his reckless gamer urges. Still, the plan had worked. The stone minions had wiped out the rest of the players while Anyu's squad sealed every resurrection array, trapping the enemy army with nowhere left to respawn. Huang Ziking was captured in the process, but Zentil and Song Xiaoyu managed to slip away and hide somewhere in the rubble. So our boy leapt into action, deciding to take down the Nine Realms Stone Overseer first and hunt the fugitives afterward. He landed right among the stone minions, catching them completely off guard, and they charged at him from every direction at once. But he weaved through the whole mess without taking a single hit. As fast as those things could launch a target into the sky, dodging them was simple enough as long as he stayed faster than they were. Deep inside the boss, however, Xiaoyu watched the fight with crazy red eyes, telling herself that her new power had made her unstoppable. She had no idea what she was really looking at. Then some of the minions transformed into giant rolling wheels and hurled themselves straight at him. Shadow read the pattern instantly. These were homing boulders, and a single hit would slow him to a crawl. Staying calm, he slipped through the tight gaps between them to set up his counter, then jumped at the exact right moment, so the boulders smashed into each other and exploded into pieces. The rest of the minions closed in around him from all sides, and from their hiding spots Song Xiaoyu and Ziking celebrated, certain that Shadow had finally backed himself into a dead end. The Overseer, Hartman, loomed over him like a mountain, but our boy only scoffed at their excitement, because real high-level play was never about dodging attacks. It was about deciding when and how the enemy attacked in the first place. They were exactly where he wanted them. Shadow channeled his energy, leaped high into the sky, and unleashed his ultimate endless nightmare, dragging all 27 stone minions into one tight cluster directly beneath the boss. Those minions carried monstrous physical resistance, but magic damage tore straight through them. And with the entire mob packed together, he brought down a quadruple Dark Knight Ring blade in a single motion. Massive damage numbers popped up as the whole cluster vaporized at the same instant, and that was the entire point. Kill every last one of them inside a 1-second window, and not a single one could trigger its infinite revival. Song Xiaoyu and Zentil froze in absolute horror as they watched him casually solve the boss's unkillable gimmick. And a heartbeat later the minion's death effect went off, detonating every fallen rock right under the Overseer. The explosion shook the whole city, ripped away half of the boss's health bar in one go, and left even Anquan in shock. Looking down at the monster, Shadow remembered the price hidden behind the ritual that had unsealed it. To break that seal, someone had to offer themselves as a living sacrifice, and the more players the boss slaughtered, the faster that sacrifice burned away, until the soul inside was fused with the monster forever. Xiaoyu was screaming for more blood without ever realizing she was the fuel. The explosion ripped away half of the Nine Realms Stone Overseer's health bar. Red energy surged across the battlefield as the golem forced itself into its next phase, tearing heavy boulders out of the ground and lifting them into the air. Song Xiaoyu and Zentil watched in disbelief while the Overseer roared in pure rage, and inside it Xiaoyu completely lost her mind, screaming for endless slaughter as the ritual took full control of her. The golem swung down to crush our boy, and the shockwave alone forced Song Xiaoyu and Zentil to duck behind the rocks. Shadow stayed completely unfazed, summoning shadow clones to surround the giant before hitting it with a fourfold Dark Knight Ring blade, only for the boss to activate rock armor and absorb the magic energy entirely. In this phase, it seemed, the Overseer paired its high physical defense with a shield that ate every bit of magic damage. Every boss had a weakness though. Shadow leaped high above the giant and drove a fourfold crimson blade straight into its body, and the heavy blow shattered the rock shield, forcing the boss into a 5-second vulnerable state that tripled all incoming damage. Capitalizing on the opening, he instantly landed a quadruple instant shadow slash to carve away another chunk of health, and with his limit break meter completely full, he noticed something even better. While vulnerable, the boss lost its status immunity, so he immediately triggered Endless Nightmare again, swallowing the giant in dark purple flames. The skill pierced straight into the sacrifice core and flooded Xiao Yao's mind with memories of her past life with Qin Feng. Trapped inside that dreamscape, she panicked as visions of Qin Feng shielding her flashed before her eyes, and she screamed in rage that he would never torment her again, swearing to kill him no matter what it took. What she could never see, of course, was that every one of those memories was of a man dying for her. Her mind only spiraled deeper, back to the moment in her old timeline when Qin Feng lay covered in blood. Outside, the nightmare locked the colossal boss down completely and dropped it into a deep sleep. That sleep froze the vulnerability timer, which meant the next hit would land with stacked multipliers for nearly 7 times normal damage. Multi-hit and AoE attacks would waste all of it and leave the boss alive, so Shadow decided to save the opening and build up ultimate energy for one lethal Crimson Blade finisher. Right as he started charging, his system pinged with a judgment target nearby, and it named her as the Blasphemer, Qin Xiaoyu, which told him she had already fully awakened her hidden class. A massive blizzard spell swallowed the area a moment later, meant to deal area damage and slow him down, but his passive made him completely immune to magic effects. Through the swirling snow, the red-eyed leader appeared right behind him and caught our boy off guard for the first time all night. He gloated that he had been waiting for the exact moment Shadow lowered his guard, then unleashed his ultimate, murderous intent infusion, forcing every kill value he had accumulated onto Shadow. Red energy flooded in as the kill stack soared past 200 layers, doubling both his attributes and the damage he takes. Smirking as the curse locked on, the red-eyed leader revealed his own hidden class, the Executioner, stolen from an American killer, which let him stack infinite kills without ever triggering the system's judgment and dump those stacks onto anyone he chose. He was still boasting about trapping the strongest player in the game when Shadow cut him clean in half. For a second our boy was confused, wondering why the man had not used Soulwalker to dodge, until it clicked. The red-eyed leader had let the strike land on purpose, just to get close enough to finish the curse, and even as he died he pulled out a glowing card to read Shadow's fate. At that same moment, Shadow triggered his blooming curse through Theodore's card, and glowing red spider lilies bloomed around him while the system processed his enormous kill stacks. Above the ruined city, the sky twisted into a terrifying crimson vortex, and Huang Ziqing and Song Xiaoyu laughed hysterically, celebrating that their trap had finally summoned the ultimate disaster. A blood-red omen star formed in the churning clouds exactly as the ancient prophecy described, then began to descend to purge everything in its path, and then the system spelled out what was coming for him. A level 999 mythic-grade executioner of slaughter has arrived to execute Shadow for his extreme kill stacks.